Morning, everyone. Appreciate y'all for being here. Hopefully, I won't bore y'all to death. And this is like my fourth day doing this, so if I get a little lazy or something, just put me in check. All right. All right. So, we're gonna talk about a few just little IT tips that I feel like it will help everybody on just managing time efficiently and just collaborating with your team better. Um, so it's a lot of things that I'm covering here that some are basic level, some you might know, and just like you could just tune out or some more. It could be a refresher for you. So we go on basic level, and then we're gonna do some more advanced things. Okay. So we're going to review Microsoft 365 applications, which are Outlook, Teams, OneDrive, and SharePoint, storage and saving documents, credible calendar integration, and some general troubleshooting tips. All right. And I want to preface saying if I cover anything here today that um y'all might, if I miss anything and y'all feel like on your day to day that I could use some more tips, or I could use a little bit more advice on how to utilize something better, just you can email me and just say for the next time so I can repeat it. All right. Um, all roads lead to Rome. I'm saying this because just because I'm showing y'all one way, it's not the only way to do it. You could do it multiple ways to skin a cat. Just because I'm showing you could create a group this way, just because I'm showing you can email this way, just because I'm showing you could go to the SharePoint this way. There's multiple ways you could do it, and so whatever way works for you guys, that works, or you guys and gals that works for you. Yeah. So we're gonna talk about the Microsoft 365 suite. Microsoft 365 suite is a subscription-based services that we use. The 365 suite, it provides us with the OneDrive, the SharePoint, Word, Excel, and we all know on our personal computers, if we all wanted Word, we all know how expensive that Word could be. The personal computer, especially, they do subscription-based services. You got to pay a monthly subscription now, unless you want the standalone version. But in other news, yeah, so we use 365 to get our domain. That when you think about 365, think about the at WTCSB.org. So anytime that it asks for your email address and you're on a Microsoft website, you might be on SharePoint, you might be on Word, you're on Outlook, you're on your OneDrive, and it asks for your Microsoft email. Think about Western Tidewater at WTCSB.org. So your first initial, last name, might have a number or something in the back of it. But yeah, so just always use that. So if you put a ticket in and you can't log into your OneDrive for whatever reason, be specific. Say I can't log into my OneDrive because when we get tickets and we say we can't log into the computer, we don't know if you're talking about Chronos, Credible, Reliance, and so just anytime that you think about you see any of these icons, OneDrive, Outlook 365, just think about your at WTCSB.org password. And that's every time you log into the computer. That's your general Microsoft 365 password. All right. We all good? Yeah. Understand? All right. So real quick, when you first log into your computer in the morning, right, and you put your boot password in, that first password is called what? Your Microsoft 365 password. All right. Your Western Tower with a password. All right. So you could use that password if anybody uses a Outlook or Teams or something like that on the web, going through Google Chrome, you use that password to log in. All right, so we're going to talk about quickly the web interface app and versus the native application. So the web interface app is when you use an internet browser to get to your Outlook, to get to your OneDrive, to get to Teams. Anything and your native app is the application that's installed on your computer. All right. So native app is anything that has the icon on your desktop on your taskbar. So I'm gonna show you what a native app is and what I say a web interface app. Okay, so we are. I'm on my desktop.
Nice car.
I have affinity with cars. I love cars. So my desktop like. Okay, so all my icons came up. So these are native applications. You see, I have uh, application for the Outlook, my Outlook. Um, like I could have Word and I have Teams. So these are all native applications that stored on the computer, right? But if you wanted to go into, if you wanted to use Google Chrome to use your to access your emails, you could do that also. And this is going through the web. So you're going through Google Chrome, you're going through Mozilla Firefox, we're going through Internet Explorer, you're going through the web. The web interface is nice because you can access it from anywhere, but it limits the functionalities you have doing certain things, right? Like I was just helping Miss Rawls over there. I know some people have multiple inbox shared inbox folders. In 365 and Google Chrome, it doesn't show your multiple inbox folders. All right. So I'm in the SharePoint. I click the waffle, and I could view my emails in Google Chrome. And this is the web version of Google Chrome. I mean Outlook, right? So this is nice. Like I said, if your computer goes down, if you're in a residential house or using a loaner computer, and you don't want to put your a local copy of your Outlook inbox onto a computer, you could just go log into Google Chrome real quick and access your stuff straight from the internet. So that's nice to have. But like I said, it limits your functionalities.
No, I was trying to follow along, and
Right.
on my waffle, I clicked it, and it says something went wrong, but it always says that for me.
So
So I go on another way, but I don't see this at all. All that.
yes. So are you on the SharePoint when you click the waffle, or
I went into the web,
went to the web?
and then on the side where you can click the waffle to go into that.
Right.
Yeah, it just says something went wrong, but it says that all the time. And it says try to connect with your company administrator for help.
Okay. So I take a look at that.
No.
But yeah. So this is the web interface. Like I said, we have Outlook. You could go into OneDrive. I have my OneDrive in here. It's all web. I could go into Word or Excel. I could create a Word document or work on a Word document. I could work on a PowerPoint. I could even access my team. So if any reason that you're on a computer and you don't have Teams installed, whatever the case may be, you could go through the SharePoint and click the waffle, go into Teams. And Teams Classic will pop up in the web. You can still collaborate and talk with your staff or your colleagues. That's the web version. All right. I want to show nothing personal information of my team.
The screen so we could be nosy next time.
Nah. What's going on? So okay, so that's the web interface. All right. But the native interface, like I said, it has more functionalities. And we're gonna talk about the more functionalities in a second. But everything that I'm showing you today is going to be in the native app. So if you feel comfortable using Google Chrome, that's okay. But anything I'll be showing you is in the native application. All right. How many people in here go through Google Chrome to get to their emails? Nobody. Okay. All right.
It just seems easier if you just use your work computer versus, and then also the sensitive information.
Right.
I don't have control over my personal computer who can hack it, interface or see. So
Yeah. So when I say go through Google Chrome, so when you access your Outlook on the typical use that. Okay. But a lot of people instead of going through clicking right there, they'll go to their SharePoint and they'll just work out of they'll just work their email out of here.
Okay.
But like I said, it's nice to have, but it limits your functionality with certain things. All right. So now we're gonna start talking about Outlook. Just a couple of tips. Different stroke for different folks. Just because your Outlook view looks like this, it's all right. Mine typically doesn't look like this because you have to click into the message for the message to expand. I like having a reading pane to the side, having my inbox to the side. But sometimes you might open Outlook and for some reason your view changed. You might just need to change it real quick, and we're gonna go through that. But if you like your view like that, by all means, go for it. All right. So I'm gonna show you. So sometimes I get tickets. We get tickets like this all the time. But you open your Outlook, and for some reason, your Outlook looks like this, and you can't find your inbox. If you wanna to preview a message, you have to click into it, and then it'll open another window. But like I said, before you know it, you have 10, 15 windows open of just open messages that you try to reply to. So to get your reading pane to the right and then your folder pane to the left, when you're in Outlook, you want to come to the top and you want to click view. You want to your reading pane, you want to make it to the right. So now I could just quickly review a message on the side. And then if your inbox folder is missing, you want to come to folder pane, click on normal. Now my inbox folder is there, my sent, my drafts folder is there. So this is just basic tips, but you'd be surprised on sometimes people not really know how to change their view in their Outlook. All right. Any questions? Yes, ma'am. Click on view, and then to the right it says reading pane. Do you see that? Top right.
Oh.
Oh yeah, that also too. Oh, okay. So Ms. Merge, she uses the 360 Google Chrome. So this is you're going through Google Chrome to check your email.
Oh, wow.
Are you sure me first? It just, yeah, I don't know on the bottom of yours. That's what I do. I mean, don't go over the. Something else. Because. Everybody's like, what do you need? It happened.
Okay. So, bam, sister, like what?
Nope. Every. But. That has a little O, that's the one. And if that will go away, I would be like, oh, mine has disappeared. I've put some things as well.
Oh, gosh, you're in trouble.
Have a little preview without that. Keep on clicking in. Yeah, so that's it.
Like 15 people. Do you think it's fine? Use that tomorrow for the
We're all straight. I see Miss Persons. So just because if your Outlook looks like this and that works for you, that's fine. But like I said, I like having a reading pane to the side just so I ain't gotta keep on clicking in the message. Shows a little preview. And I have a couple videos I had created in the slideshow, but I'm gonna talk through those right here. Flesh. So does everybody have a signature in Outlook? Everybody has a signature. No?
Like the original thing?
Yeah, your signature,
I like,
email signature. Yeah. Okay.
I'm a hard on that a little.
Everybody,
Yeah, anything.
I put it in, I
Okay.
settings, save it, but then it's not in there.
okay, so real quick, so yeah, so real quick, we could if y'all want to, I could go through it real quick. Like I said, everybody outlooks may look a little different. You might have the new Outlook, you may have Outlook 2016, or you might have the 365 Outlook. All right. So to create a signature, you want to come into File. You want to go down to Options. You want to click Mail, and then create or modify signatures for messages. Right. I have two signatures here already. I created one for the class before, and this is my original one. So for this particular one, we're gonna create a new one. I'm gonna make it a test signature. I'm gonna put my name. So you want to have your name. I use for my name, my title, the organization I work for, and just two methods of contact. So I put my work cell phone and my email, and I mean, even though my email is already, that's why you got my email. Yeah. So that's it. Like I said, I have one here already. Andrew Henry, IT Help Desk Specialist, Western Tidewater. I have my office number and the extension, my mobile number, my email, and to submit a help desk ticket. And that's how I have it in my email. And under there it says choose default signature. You want to click on new messages. You want to click on the new messages. You want to select the signature you created. So mine is WTCSB. Replies and forward WTCSB. Click OK. So anytime that you compose a message or you reply to a message, your signature will be there.
So there's a place you can select forwarding. I can put it there too.
Yes, ma'am. Replies and forward.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Brooks, are you good back there?
Yeah, I'm good.
You up? See, I'm IT, so I know little tips and tricks. I could do that, but I would be lying to say it was easy. That's a little bit more advanced. But if you need a one-on-one, we could definitely do that, Ms. Brooks. We could do that. We could do a one-on-one because honestly, I forgot myself. I thought I did it when I first got. I did it when I first got here. Honest. But they have templates. They have templates and stuff like that. So I think what I did was I copied a template offline, and then they had a picture already in there, and then I just sent myself a picture of myself. I look good. I'm sorry. But yeah, so that's how you create a signature. But like I said, you have templates and stuff online. And they have pictures, those stock photos there. You can just remove the stock photo, put it there. Okay. You could put that on the bottom of your signature also. So anytime that you reply is right at the bottom. So I need to put there myself.
Is that written out somewhere?
I know. Yeah.
I got mine from
Somebody.
years ago.
Right. Yeah, you probably can just copy it from another person's signature if it fits your needs, and just add it to the bottom of yours. This video's right here. Okay, signature video went past that. Okay, so we talked about an interface already. Like I said, different strokes for different folks. It's because your interface looks a little wonky doesn't mean it's wonky for you. Okay. Okay, folders. Is everybody familiar with creating folders in Outlook? Pretty sure it's pretty sure it's pretty simple, pretty basic. everybody just you come to your Outlook and you can just right click where you want your folder to be. This particular, I'm gonna right click my inbox, click new folder, and I'm gonna name this test folder. All right. So, but there's nothing in there. All right. If you want to utilize your folders better, you could always create what you call a rule. Does everybody know how to create a rule in Outlook?
Yeah.
But I have too much going on over here. I gotta take it with it.
So yes.
Not done folders.
Okay. Yeah, so if you create a folder, like I said, I have a folder for like badge activations. Anytime HR gets a new badge, we get a new person on staff, I have to activate their badge. Taya, Miss Renee, Ariane, somebody sends me information for their badge. So just to make sure I stay on top of activating badges, anytime that I get a email from Taya Renee or Alicia or Ariane and it has the word badge in the subject, it moves into my badge folder automatically without me having to do anything. Just so I can stay on top of activating badges. So if you receive a lot of emails from a particular vendor or particular staff or a group of people that you always just need to stay on top of, or you might want to send it to the spam folder. It's whatever you want. So we're gonna talk about doing that also. So creating folders is good for organization, time management, improve productivity, storage management, and collaboration. And I hate having a bunch of things in my inbox. Just yeah, something about having 2,000 unread emails don't sit right with my spirit. All right, it doesn't. So this is a little short video on me creating. I got 1,400, so I ain't no better.
Right, been here a long time.
Man, I can only imagine how y'all inbox. I can only imagine. Okay, so these are just quick rules on how to create rules in Outlook, but we're just gonna quickly make a rule. All right. So what I've been doing these past couple classes, I've been making a credible rule, but since that rule is already in effect, I'm going to create a new rule. So to create a rule, if you want to, you can follow along, but you could enter your own prerequisites. So you want to click on File, Manage Rules and Alerts. You want to click on New Rule, and it says Move Messages from someone to a folder. That's one of the first templates. So you could use that. Like I said, they have multiple templates you could use, or you could use any of the ones that's listed. So it says Move Messages with specific words in the subject to a folder. Move messages to a public group to a folder. So in this particular example, I'm going to move messages from someone to a folder. And in step two says apply this rule after a message arrives from people or public group. And I'm going to use Alicia as an example. So I'm selecting Alicia name, apply this rules after this message arrives from Alicia, and move to the specific folder. The specific folder I want to use is the test folder. And I'm gonna click next. They have more conditions if you wanted to use it, if you wanted to add specific words, or if they marked it as importance, or if it's flagged for action. Like there's many conditions that you could choose from. If it has a certain received in a certain date range, if you want to if it's marked as sensitive, like so. But for this particular example, I'm not going to use any example. I'm not going to select any of these. So my rule is apply this rule after this message arrives from Alicia Williams and move to the test folder. Click next. You can add exceptions. I'm not going to add any exceptions. I'm just going to continue through the wizard. I'm going to run this rule now to on the messages that's already in my inbox. I'm going to click finish. It might take a little while because I'm pretty sure everybody has a lot of messages from Alicia in their inbox, and it's going to move all the messages that's in my inbox folder to that test folder I created. So it's finished now. Click apply, click OK. And when I go to the test folder, any email that I receive from Alicia is in this test folder now. Yeah, let me get up. Yeah, I can't be seeing everything, but yeah. So just that's a good rule to have, or good way to utilize a rule. Just if y'all receive emails from a certain vendor or a certain corporation or something like that, and you need to stay on top of it, you could create a folder and create a rule for that particular vendor, and so you can always stay on top of those emails. All right. Everybody, we all good? Staying with it? No? That file at the top? Okay.
And I'm not doing. Click on the other text and the rule description. Click on. I got it.
So the new Outlook looks way different than what I have up here. No, it's there though. This is the rules. Instead of clicking the file, they have the setting icon at the top. I got
You can name it. Like you can.
you. Yeah, you can rename the folder to you got to create the folder before you do this part.
Said it should.
Yeah, you got to create the folder before you make.
Yeah.
The inbox will still show you everything, but if you go into like your particular folder.
But okay, yeah. When I'm looking at my email, nothing really to go in those folders.
Yeah, you want to do something with it.
Everybody good?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Well, you know,
I got you. I know. All right. Everybody, does everybody know how to create a contact or a group in Outlook? No? I won't let you do it?
Quality time with David.
Really?
Quality.
Yeah. He has pencil and it would.
Oh wow. Okay, so we're going to. So do you remember how the method he tried to use?
Couple years.
Okay.
But, you know, I've been here for like 20 years, so I can have.
Things probably the same now. We probably can't get you right, get you straight now. But so if I'm in Outlook right now, if you look to the left hand side, you should see these two people. It's like that's your people's tab, right? So it's good to create a group. So when you're emailing folks, you got to keep on typing in like multiple email addresses email addresses, especially if you keep on emailing the same group. You want to keep on typing 10 different email addresses every time, right? So we're gonna talk about how to create a group. So you can just type the group name in, and your emails will populate in there. All right.
So where'd you go? I'm sorry.
On the left hand side, there's two people there. Yours probably looks a little different. You see it? Okay, two people. Okay. So when you're there, you want to click on right here on my screen. It says new contact group. You might have if there's a little down arrow, click on that and click on new I think yours says group or list.
Says contact, then it's got everybody to the right side. Yeah, I don't even have that tab on.
Okay, so let's see. Yeah, so you want to click on, make sure you're on the home tab at the top, and then click on new contact group. And you want to name your group. You can name it anything you would like. If you want to name it the name of your program or something like that for your staff, you could do that. I'm gonna name this one. I'm gonna name this one HR, and I'm gonna add a couple of HR members. So you want to click on add members and add from address book. Everybody from the organization should populate into here. I'm gonna add Lara.
What if there are people not in there? Just say,
You could manually add emails also. We could do that also. Renee White. Let's see. Add members, new email contact, and you could enter display name and enter the email address that you want to send the person to that's not in the organization. So yeah, I wanted to add those people. So I added Lara, Renee, and Miss Taya to my HR folder, to my HR group. I'm going to click save and close. Now I have a group in here called HR. And if I wanted to just automatically send them an email, I can click on send email. And then it will populate my group into the two section. If I hit the plus, it will show everybody that's in that particular group. You could add however many people you would like. And this doesn't just work for Outlook. You could if you're in OneDrive and you want to share to a particular group or person, you could type in the HR, and the same group that you populated in Outlook is going to work in your OneDrive. It's going to work in your Teams and things of that nature. So that's just nice to have if you're always constantly emailing your team, and instead of just like I said, keep on entering everybody email separate. Just keep you just enter it one time, and then you always have your contact group. If you want to take somebody out the group, you click on people, and just go into the group, and you just highlight their name, and it says remove member. And this is a just a nice way, because I know a lot of times that people think that IT is only people that could create groups and stuff like that. But y'all have access to create groups too. It's not when we create a group, it's more organizational wide. When y'all create a group, it's only in y'all contacts folder, in y'all Outlook contact. You could share your contact with somebody else so they can have the same one, but it's not organizational wide like when we create. All right.
For us, we can't add or delete members from that group.
No, it depends. It depends on what kind of group it is. Because sometimes we have the shared mailboxes. We have like groups that if you're a part of the group, you can have access to certain share points and stuff like that. So yeah, only we could add and remove people for those groups. But for these contact groups, you have free will. yeah, do what y'all. Okay.
My IT tech now.
Okay.
To the list, yes.
I'm glad we learned something today. I'm glad we learned something. All right. Does everybody know how to schedule a meeting in your calendar? Pretty sure everybody is well versed in that. We all use calendars. All right. Does everybody know how to book a room when you're scheduling a calendar? Okay. Okay, we could do that. You said David sent out a video?
Yeah. Or so. How to schedule a meeting. Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
Oh, so Miss Mertz getting special services and stuff from David.
He would be right.
Oh yeah. Right. Yeah, I haven't seen that video, but we could go over it. And David might have showed you a different way than I do it. So
There's more. Over.
all roads lead the room. Yep. And it wasn't built in a day. So if we're all in calendar, here in your Outlook calendar, you want to click on new meeting. And the Outlook version I use, I know my Outlook, anytime I click on new meeting, it automatically wants to host a Teams meeting. All right. And it could get confusing sometimes, because sometimes you want to have like a personal meeting and the person is still in their jammies and got the top on it, and they think it's just a Teams meeting. All right. But so before you send the meeting out, make sure you don't have any Teams information in there. So when you click on new meeting, hit don't host online, okay? And once you click on don't host online, it's going to remove all the teams information, okay? It's a red the red X.
Okay.
Red X. Me too. Yeah.
Cancel invitation.
See, so yours didn't automatically start a Teams meeting, because I know some people it does.
Done.
Yours doesn't. Because when I click new meeting, automatically this comes up. Microsoft Teams meeting comes up.
Ouch, my.
You probably have turned it off. Is there a way to turn that off?
So I think what it is a new appointment and a new meeting is two different subjects. So when I was doing my testing, this is what I came to my conclusion.
That might be what Teresa got, because David did send out a video while back about how to disable that team from showing up on your Zoom.
On how to reserve meeting rooms.
Mine does say appointment first.
Yeah.
That doesn't come up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't come up.
Yeah. So when you do a meeting, when you click on meeting, that's when that Teams thing comes. When you click appointment, it doesn't do it. So I'm saying new appointment is the same thing, but it doesn't have automatically invite attendees. It just has a title and a location, right? When you click new meeting, you have required and optional, and you could add it. But like I said, I clicked don't host online, so the Microsoft Teams disappeared, right? And then I have the required or optional. Okay. Settings on the calendar. Okay, add online meetings. Okay.
Schedule a Zoom meeting. It doesn't come up with the Teams link in the Zoom meeting
Okay.
invite. And then half of your people are joining Teams and half of your people are joining on Zoom.
Right. Okay, so that should be step number one. Turning that off.
Yes.
Turning that
Yes.
So you want to turn that off, and anytime you want to start host a meeting, you enter your title, enter the required staff, the optional staff. For me, anytime I look want to book a room, I click on location, and all the rooms that's associated with Western Tidewater should populate in the location tab, right? I suggest doing your start times and doing your times first, because when you book the room, it will let you know if it's being used or not. So
Yeah, wait to see that beforehand. Because you normally wait for it to say nope, decline.
yeah, so like let's say I'm scheduling this meeting right now for April 4th, and I'm going to do it at 9:30, and I want to find a location. When I hit location, so let's say if I want to do Saratoga, you see it says available there.
Okay.
So, but if I change my time to somewhere where it's not it's going to say unavailable. So I'm gonna do Northgate. I'm gonna see what happens. You see Northgate, it says busy. So you have
Talking about the calendar. You have to go up there to add calendar.
yeah.
You can add calendar and then it'll let you add.
Yeah. If you want to add the calendar, room calendar itself, yeah, you can do that.
Well, sometimes when I go for the location and type whatever location, like in group or here, it doesn't populate, and I know it's there. It's just not populating on my computer.
See, and we seen that issue with the new teams also, because the new teams, it has I think it's called Room Finder or something like that on it. The Room Finder and the Room Browser are like two different things. So I think when
So another question.
pull it up though when you get a chance. So I could show you, because you can start typing in there and the rooms will populate. But you
Kind of lost, like that room, but it doesn't show any of the little things.
Would it be-
calendar associated. Yeah, this is a group, so it's not a calendar there. So you have to add a calendar to that room folder. So
different.
What location? Is that?
I only have a
See.
Room is, but you once you start typing it in, let's say like you said, Northgate.
What do you call the?
It will
Mhm.
populate, but
And edit.
it doesn't keep the list of how the old Outlook does it.
Ain't say nothing about that. What we trying to edit? I need to add, yeah. CC issue mentioned statement, because it better move over.
Is anybody else have any issues with
Yeah, I think he.
reserving a room? Did they start like
Hey, man. If she's already. But it ain't no, I mean, when I say that, like.
yeah, it says required up there because
Like.
every room is associated with like an email address, so it's showing that you booked the room. So required is good.
Yeah, no, that's not right.
Yeah, you can put everybody else in there.
I sent it to you. I ain't sent it to you. No, I'm sending it to you. Go ahead.
Delete the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to leave it there because, like I said, the room is technically like an email, so it has to communicate with the email address. Yeah, it's book. So what would be that there? All right, we'll just still invite everybody.
Except for you be requested. But your lines is fun. I like it.
Oh, we're all good.
No, she's stuck. She gotta,
Well, it's not, you know.
yeah, baby, we gonna back up again. She changed. I just think I just have one.
So you said it's the whole thing. Oh, thank you. So I need to add, like, it would be the, I need to say what CCSU mission. Then it. To the referrals. Yeah. Yes. All right. Thank you. Thank you. No, he's commanding.
So, did everybody do? Everybody was able to book a room. Any questions? We good? Okay, we're gonna do like a 5 minute break. I just stretch and get a bev.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. You why we should have been yours. Hey, let's do. Right, that's what I should. Last night I was a little tired, that rain.
Do you work on the old Outlook or the new Outlook?
It doesn't.
Yeah, that's what I went to.
It's you.
So that's just, I guess.
It's in an odd place. It's not.
I tried to go to the new one. I was like, oh, like I went back.
I tried to, and I was missing certain features. Are we ready? We all back, all hydrated, stretched. All right. So all computers, every time we set up a computer for you guys, we try to have the SharePoint bookmarked at the top of the page. Does everybody have the SharePoint bookmarked at the top of the page? Yeah.
Stressing me out.
Google Chrome. Or your Google Chrome.
It's over here.
Or your Microsoft Edge or your Firefox, whatever browser you use.
Chrome specifically.
Yeah, we put it on Chrome specifically.
Hold on.
Just because
It's open with anything.
that's what everybody uses. Microsoft Edge is real nice also because if you get a new computer and it syncs with your 365 profile, so when you get a new computer, all your browsing profile, all your browsing data, your passwords is saved. So Edge is nice for that. If I use Chrome, but I have a Gmail. I use my Western Tidewater account as my Gmail account, so I could just log into my Google Chrome on any browser, and my password and stuff would sync back up. All right.
So I know in another meeting, I do not remember which one it was in, they wanted us to stop going to the WTCSB.org website automatically because it was clicking for people.
Yeah.
But that's the homepage. How do I change that?
So if that's your homepage, soon as you open up your browser, it goes to the WTCSB website. Okay, you got to go into your settings. Use Chrome or Edge.
Edge.
So you got to go into your settings on the Edge, which is top right,
Mm.
and just change your homepage to make it say like a new tab, or you can make it to like generic Google, or you can make it to your SharePoint. It just when we go into the WTCSB website and we just click into the website and we go to the resources and employee portal, it's just it makes our website stats look kind of bad. It makes it look like somebody's clicking in the website. Oh, it's WTCSB. I don't want to be here, and I go back instead of going to the SharePoint. All right. So it just makes our stats look bad. So it's easier. It'll be better for us just to go through a bookmark. So we just automatically go to the SharePoint, or we could just type in the URL, which is westerntidewatercsb.sharepoint.com. Okay. And I'm gonna show you guys how to do that real quick. So let's say I'm in Google Chrome. Type in westerntidewatersharepoint.com, and I'm right to the SharePoint. All right. It's better to do that than to go to Western Tidewater CSB. We go through this way. The website is just reading that somebody's checking the website out, and they're jumping right off of it. All right, which negatively impact our stats on the website. So just go through the SharePoint through your bookmarks, or go through the URL. All right.
Yes.
So mine is saying, you're saying put in your URL where you do your search, Western Tidewater.
CSB.sharepoint.com.
So it's Western Tidewater CSB dot SharePoint
SharePoint.com. Yes, ma'am.
dot SharePoint.
.sharepoint. And then once you have it up, Ms. Merch, if you're on Google Chrome, there should be like a star icon to the right, and just bookmark it so you just have it always available for you. Microsoft OneDrive is a good tool to use. It differs between the SharePoint, because the SharePoint is more organizational wide. Like if all our SharePoint document libraries, the stuff that everybody in the organization needs to have access to. OneDrive is more personal. If you're working on a Word document, a certain Excel spreadsheet that you and your team just need access to, um, or any photos, any documents really that you need to share with your staff, you could do that within your OneDrive. You always want to make sure that your OneDrive is backing up. All right, there's a blue icon at the bottom right of your computer next to the cloud. Next to the time. There should be a blue icon there, and well, it should be a cloud icon. If the cloud icon is blue, that means you're backing up. If the icon is grayed out with a slash through it, your information is not being backed up. So
Yeah, where
I need
would you
to
see
see
this
what
at?
so the icon should be at the bottom of your screen.
Oh, that,
It's like the blue cloud icon next to your time.
So you said if it's blue, then that means it's backing up?
It's back. Your information is backing up. Okay. If it's grayed out, that means you're not signed in and your information is not backing up. So if something happened to your computer and you need a new computer, and you out of luck because your stuff is not backed up. And once we log into your account, you might lose all your documents. All right.
blue, but it says at the bottom.
Blue. Sign in.
In process, uploading files to cloud. Oh, that's yours right there.
Everybody click that OneDrive icon to make sure everything is, your OneDrive is being.
Your account needs attention.
No, don't, I don't need that. Right, I just think we think.
Okay, yeah. So yours being backed up fine. Your information is being backed up. Being backed up. There. Now it's backed up. It's just showing what's was backed up recently. So that's the most recent thing that was backed up 2 hours ago. That's if you was working on that. So it's just backed up a recent copy.
So this is what you're talking about, right? This piece there.
Yes, ma'am. Yep. Yeah, so you just always want to make sure that your files are being backed up. If something catastrophic happens, we need to get your information back, okay?
And one time I had a situation where, this was not here, it was somewhere else. And, but I had a situation where I lost something really valuable and couldn't find it, don't know why it happened, some kind of glitchy things. My IT person was able to go in to that particular folder, Word or whatever, and then pull up like the date that was last saved.
Previous version.
All that work all over again,
You might miss some of it, but
but not,
yeah.
not the whole project.
It's always nice to have your things backed up. Okay? So we're gonna talk about Microsoft Teams a little bit, okay? I know a lot of people we use just Teams to communicate with everybody, but we could use Teams to collaborate better and have supervisions in our teams and have a running log of supervisions with your staff, okay? So this is a short video on just me creating a sub channel or channels and sub channels of if I had a team and I wanted to host supervision, okay? But I'm gonna go ahead and do it real time for y'all. Let's see. All right, so I'm in Teams. You want to come to the left hand side where it says Teams, and we're gonna come to the plus and we're gonna create and join channels, right? We're gonna create a team. I'm gonna name this team. I'll make this team private, so only people with permission can join. I'm gonna name this team test team. And put the description in the team, put test. get a quick prompt, and then I can add members to my team. So I'm going to add Wayne.
First, you click, and
Your first thing you clicked on?
The first thing I clicked on, I'm in Teams. I'll go to the left and click on Teams.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Yep, and then you want to click on the plus icon.
Okay.
Click on Create Team.
All right.
You want to create your team from scratch.
Yes. Big black tab.
Yeah.
He said private. Make your team. Being a team. You can see a team.
Uh-huh.
You have to give a description.
So I'm gonna add a couple members to my test team. I'm gonna add Wayne, Valerie, David. David. Click add. So now these staff members are part of my team. I'm gonna add a channel. I'm gonna name this channel Wayne Supervision. I'll make this channel type private. I'm gonna create it. And then I'm gonna add Wayne to this particular channel. So now I have a sub channel with Wayne, with only Wayne, that only me and Wayne can view. Anytime I have a supervision with Wayne, or anytime I have me and him collaborating on anything, it's going to create a running log of anything that me and him talk about. So we could create a post if I just need to discuss something with him. I could create we could come in here and add apps. You can add Word if you wanted to, Word documents. Anytime I had supervision with Wayne, I'll come into this sub channel, Wayne Supervision. I will start the call, and we can have our meetings in here. Okay. So this will be good. This will be good for you to have for your staff. You'll create a team. Have a sub channel for everybody that's on your team. So anytime you have supervision or you want to collaborate with that person, you go into the sub channel, start a meeting, and you could use that team channel better.
Let me add any more channels. So I had to go create a whole other team. Well, it was part of our service access one, so other people were using that team as well, so they had folders in it that I could see, vice versa. So I don't know how many folders were in there, but it refused to add channel. But we all had channels within it.
So this particular group is just for like you and your team. So I want to say that how many channels could you see in that particular channel that you were referring to?
We have 4 additional channels.
4 additional.
For each staff for all of our supervision.
Okay.
4 or 5.
4 or 5. Okay.
So
it's over 10. I'm sure. Okay.
And that's separate from
What you mean?
the ruler. This you just did. That's separate from the ruler.
Oh yeah. This separate from the rules. Yes, the rules is more for your Outlook. Just to have better organization skills in your Outlook. This is for just better team collaboration and team management. Just having a meeting, because anytime me and David have supervision or have any meetings, we have the meeting and in this in my little team section right here, it says DRH and A Henry. And anytime that we have a meeting, it has a running log of all our supervisions and details and anything we talked about in here. All right. You could also add a SharePoint folder, a SharePoint document library to your team channel, right? So I have this test team. I'm going to click test team. I'm in the general section. I'm going to click plus. I want to click SharePoint, and it's going to ask for a SharePoint site. So you want to click on any SharePoint site. It's going to ask for a SharePoint link, a URL, right? You will get the URL from the SharePoint website that you want to copy. In this particular example, I'm going to use the employee documents folder. So I'm in the human resources folder. I'm gonna click employee documents. I'm going to copy this link right here, and I'm gonna add it to my Teams channel. Yeah, it is a lot of documents. So now instead of going to anytime I need to refer my team to the SharePoint to the SharePoint and employee documents, I can just refer them to the team and check the employee documents, and it's right here. All right, you could do that I know a lot of people use the IDD documents. A lot of people use the clinical operations documents. So instead of always going to the SharePoint, you could have it right in the Teams channel, so you could just refer them to that also. Okay. Anybody have any questions on Teams channels and sub channels? No? Okay. Does everybody here use Credible? We're gonna talk about integrating your Credible calendar with your Outlook. So if you can everybody log into the Credible real quick if you use Credible? Once you're in Credible, there's you want to click on schedule. And you want to click on there's a arrow, there's a calendar with a green arrow. You want to click on that. Calendar with a green. It's a tiny calendar.
Calendar.
These one of these things with the new Outlook, it doesn't work as well. that's one of these things. So you could export your calendar manually, but if you export it manually, you have to do it every time manually. So every time that you add something new, you have to export it again, add it manually. The way I'm showing you right now is once you click this button, your calendar should automatically update like every hour. Okay.
It will update roughly every hour, but every 90 days, you change your Credible password, it cuts off all of automatic transfers like this. So you will have to go back in and reauthorize this every 90 days or so. Whenever you reset your Credible password, it cuts off any automatic transfers like this. So we did discover that yesterday.
So anytime you change your Credible password, make sure you come back to your calendar, resync it. Okay. Click that blue button. It's when you doing manually, no, you could just click the Outlook calendar integration button.
Okay, so I must have missed something. Export to me. Start date, no end date.
you could just Miss Merch hit at the bottom of the window, hit Outlook calendar integration,
Okay,
and
it's that point.
yeah, just click on that, and then you might receive an error on your Outlook.
Works for some people, doesn't work.
You ain't helping us. I think she's supposed to.
Couple more things, then I'll be all finished. Okay. So Amy could come on, get you guys out of here. All right. I'm boring y'all to death. All right, real quick. Restart your computer off. All right. I know a lot of people, y'all like to have your computers on for a week and a half at a time. Y'all working from 9 to 5. And you just work from 9 to 5. You close your computer up. You just put it to sleep, keep it on a charger, and just work. Wake up the next day, do the same thing all over again. That's not good for your computer. It's still holding on to the stuff that you've been doing for the past week and a half, 2 weeks. So all the memory, all the cache files, and everything like that is going to slow your computer down. All right. I try to say like your computer, your CPU, your processing computer is like your brain. Your motherboard is like your neural system. Components in the computer is like different components of your body. Like if you was running around for 2 weeks straight, get a 5-minute nap every little chance you get, you'll be running around bogged down too. All right, you'll be upset. I'll be upset too. So yeah, just make sure you restart your computer often. Once maybe once every 2 days at least. Okay. Update your you want to check for Windows updates often. Okay, maybe once a month. So if y'all can click on the start menu on the bottom of your computer. The start button is this 4 squares at the bottom, and you want to type update. And you see check for updates.
Getting the same update repeatedly. Like I repeatedly get a Dell computer update.
So they push updates fairly frequently because when you have a computer, they push drivers for your camera, drivers for your USB, so drivers for your keyboard. So every little component in your computer has a driver. So every time they push an update, it could be for a different component in your computer for your computer to work better. So when you click on start menu and you click on update, you want to click on check for update. Another window will pop up, and you want to click for check for updates. So some of y'all might have a laundry list of items that need to be updated. Some of y'all might have 1 or 2. All right.
Go ahead. I understand it. You're saying click on it to restart. Is that what you're saying?
You just want to check for the updates right now. You can let the updates download, and you can restart the computer whenever you're done for the day. You don't have to restart it right now. You can continue working. You can continue.
Minimize it while it's running.
Yeah, you can minimize it while it's running. Just
For like update. I'm not seeing it.
You have to type it in the
On the search for update. Search.
Yeah, where it says type here to search.
Where it says search.
check it.
Yeah.
It says search.
You know, Anthony bought this.
What did you just do?
And I would say later. Okay. You got.
This March reflection.
Minimize it.
Okay, same, yes, okay.
I just want to make sure y'all doing this often, okay?
Yeah.
It's already.
Like I said, you don't have to restart your computer as soon as they finish. You can just let them sit there for a while until you're done with your shift or you're done working. Just restart your computer then.
My computer, I know when I do updates because it'll pretty much not act right.
Exactly. Like or it's not acting right, or you just need to shut it down. What you got a Surface? I'm jealous.
This is my personal one. The other one is back there. My work one, the battery was dead.
So okay, but
I get notifications almost daily from
Norton, we typically don't have Norton on our computers, so it might be just a pop-up because we don't have Norton.
Constantly popping up and saying your computer will update and that's like, yeah. What kind of computer?
The third. The one is bad.
5 or 4. 5 or 4, yes, sir.
We was Googling it.
All right. All right. I appreciate you guys trying to. I appreciate y'all. And, hopefully y'all learn something. Some good information. Thank you guys. And like, if you have any tips or tricks or something for me to get better at this, it's like my first time doing this, even though I did it all week. Yeah, just
Security.
Yep.
Know before the trainings were pushed out by IT several months ago. I got a list yesterday that had 169 employees on it that still have not taken the trainings. If you are one of them, please take them. If you have staff that have not taken them, please make sure they're taking them. The original email was sent by David, like I said, several months ago, but the employees are getting constant reminders from No Before that they're delinquent. I don't think you guys are getting them as managers that they're delinquent, but I'm getting them as an administrator, and there's a lot of people that have not taken it yet.
Like a month ago, that had everybody on it, and I know I integrated everybody on my team to take it. I did. So it was like a month ago. The managers did get a list. Thanks.
A lot of staff are like not staff who work here anymore. Because I looked over it to make sure my staff weren't on there. Okay.
Yeah.
My current staff weren't on there, but I noticed a lot of clinicians who like don't work here.
Yeah, we cleaned it up some. But it is every month. So
Okay. Yeah, I get them every week.
Staff updated.
I'm sorry, we you can ask me. I'm not gonna try to go through and figure out who the manager is because it doesn't say. It just gives the staff. It just gives the staff. I have to go through and chronos and cross reference. The directors get it. And Donna has.
Yeah.
Documents, I've been sending them to the director.
Okay, well, I'll ask her.
I'll follow it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have got
like they
Yeah, I've been sending them to the director.
right.
So, how many of you scan documents either to someone else in the agency or anywhere? How many of you scan them to yourself first?
Right.
I do.
Yeah, I remember doing it.
Yeah. Make sure your staff know this.
that they need to scan documents to their self first before they send them out. HR probably gets at least one every day that's sent from a scanner, printer, copier, somewhere, and we delete them. We do not open them. We don't try to find out who they're from. We don't find out what's attached to it. We just delete it. So if you have staff that are saying, I did that training, I sent that to HR, you might want to find out if they sent it to themselves first or they just sent it directly to HR from the printer or the scanner. That's probably what happened. We deleted it and we don't know that they finished that training. So make sure you're doing that. The other security things, Andrew?
Everybody familiar with receive a email how to market as fish.
How to do what again?
Market as fish.
Oh,
It's just fish. I've done that. But it's taken it out of my inbox.
We get we'll put it back. Yeah, but
I've done Reddit to know that.
So I've gotten back, actually come back from either Wayne or David directly. They just forward it back to me and say, this is an email.
I haven't gotten anything.
So it's probably fish. And HR and payroll constantly get ones that look like they're coming from you guys about their direct deposit and wanting to change it to another bank number. And we don't open those. We just do the fish. And then if it's legitimate, it'll come back to us and then we'll reach back out to you guys too and say, did you submit this, just to make sure? But we always submit those directly to fish because we get so many that are not legitimate. That way they can take it out so nobody else can.
A reporting of this determined to be a threat. Is there, so that's where it comes back to me. Is it something that I've done or so I'm looking at for you right now. It comes in my junk mail. Thank you for
Yeah, never looked at it.
I haven't looked there with something.
Yeah, somebody said they sent me something.
There's a big fish button.
it an idea about product. Thank you for doing for the diligence.
Or it's on the.
Oh, yeah.
Found mine. If you guys already have a lot on your toolbar on top, there's like 3 dots. If you click on that down, mine was almost next to the last on the list. And that's where I found it. So anyhow, I'll set up for you.
That's a good thing about it.
We have to actually open it. Some people you have to have to open it. Okay.
Speaking. It's good to have right now. So if I didn't have this reading pane on the side, it wouldn't let me we'll put it as fish. You see it? Oh,
But it's okay. It's okay if we do it that way.
yeah.
Okay.
But now that it's there. So thank you guys. Hopefully I learned something. If it's something I didn't cover, I wish I did, I could just email me and I'll make sure I have it for the next training class. You know, I think that's
I was asked to speak on developing organizational skills for our management, our leadership team. why we don't know, but I was selected. So I had about 2 months to put this brief presentation together. Like I said, it could take us about an hour to get through it. It depends on how good the conversation is. So I always really like the interaction. I ask a lot of questions. In some areas, I might speak through things to get down to some of our really good discussion. We're going to be talking about 5 topic areas. So decision making, so delegating and prioritizing, time, wasting behaviors, just surrounding time management, structured responses, just how we respond appropriately and professionally in email, peer to supervisor, avoiding blurred boundaries. We're going to just touch on that briefly. I did some research on, recommendations for how to avoid blurring boundaries with people that maybe are your friends. And really the reasons and the recommendations really sucked. But I put them up there anyway. We'll kind of talk about those. And then interagency networking. This is really the biggest focus area. And this usually is the part that takes us the longest. And we're going to be talking about silos. For anyone who's been around for a little bit, our Director of Business Development has spoken about our silos of excellence. Again, who really knows what that really means, but most of us have an idea about what our silos are. We'll talk pretty heavily on it. So decision making, prioritizing, and delegating. In each room, we tend to have during each training at least a few, if not more than a few, perfectionists that think that they can do everything, and think that they can take care of everything, and they don't need the help because they can get it done. Most of the time, we're probably really good at it. But as leadership, as management, we have to learn to prioritize the work that we're doing. Not only for you, because we're all wearing them. We went around the room and everyone shared what they do. We're all wearing different. We're all doing a ton of different things at one time. We are management. We're direct care. We're investigators. We're you said capacity manager, but I know you do 10 other things. Aisha's running the floor. She's a nurse. She's running around. I mean, you guys are all doing all different kinds of things. And so the way we prioritize and the way we delegate is so important to being able to alleviate some of our stress, but also just to create an effective team. So, do you guys generally delegate tasks?
Yes.
Yeah. What kind of tasks do you guys like to delegate?
Paperwork. Data.
Paperwork.
Data.
Training.
Yeah. Where they can bring it back. You don't always have to be the one that says, that's not one that's too often, but I like it because it gives them the opportunity to learn it, absorb the information, and then bring it back to you guys and your team. Data. How often you guys are doing data that you need somebody to help you?
Once a month, once a quarter.
Every time we intake a person.
Oh, so it's a lot of you guys.
It's a lot of data.
Okay. If you have someone that has a skill, skill set, you will ask them to train this person on a certain area of something.
Or new employees or new staff.
Yeah.
Delegating is important, and it's so important that we recognize the types of things that we should be delegating. So the meetings is a great one. Data. You said paperwork. I kind of love that. When you say paperwork, what do you mean by paperwork?
So like when I was doing that, you had the nurse had to do ISP. So I didn't have to do them. I delegated those to the staff.
Okay. And was that efficient and effective for your team?
For me.
For you?
Absolutely.
So sometimes it is a very self-serving reason why we delegate tasks. And that's totally okay because if it helps you, you become a more effective manager, a more effective supervisor, and you can do what you need to do for your team. I mean, you're more present to the supervisor in general where you need to be. Less burnout for sure. So it's also helpful in that it helps those individuals grow. Now, the people that you delegate to, do you tend to gravitate to the same people when you delegate? Or do you pick and choose different people? Do you give opportunities to do different tasks?
I try to do
Okay, I like that. Good.
to
you check for volunteers.
Yes.
Okay. And then you're also working what shifts that you might be able to delegate based on your limited staff and our new limited staff.
I do report with skill set that I see that may have not, you know, some people like that. They like numbers.
I want it graphic today. I said, hey, I need you to do this for me because
Some of it's political.
how so?
Well, only if it is, I probably see most of the time with a co-residents, the majority. I see most of them for yes.
Okay.
And just because some of my staff have feelings or whatever, they're more concerned about the fact that this might lead to them not being able to return to the code or something.
Okay.
Different people
So
have different feelings about it or how things might be perceived or a bigger deal.
we're going to talk about that for a minute because part of delegating is obviously for you guys to help, but it's also to help build up your team, build leaders, challenge them, make them more effective in the work that they do. So when situations like that arise, and yours is a bit of a more unique situation, how do you challenge your staff who maybe are like, no?
I think for me, sometimes I allow them to vent, then I bring them back. In my mind, it's like, let me let you vent, then I'm going to bring you back around. Because I think about
Reality?
right, yeah. Let's calm down first. I let them say, and then I say, we have to look at this in terms of what we need to get done. So I think sometimes people have we have a tendency, because we're human, that you make it personal. And I start off after I bring it back around and saying it's not really personal. You might see it as personal, but that person maybe came to you the wrong way or said something to you that you didn't like. But we have to look at, first of all, that's why they're clients. So we have to take all that to account. And then at the end of the day, we're tasked to do a job. So I might need to sometimes remove you for a period of time from that situation. And I might take it over, but you have to remember it's your job and they are clients. Things are going to happen, not always the way we want them to happen. And you can disagree, but not be disagreeable.
Well, you're a supervisor.
Right.
You make those decisions and you have the right to make those decisions. You have the right to say you are, we're just going to take a step back for a minute.
Yeah.
I'm going to take over this, but we're going to talk about it. And sometimes you have to have those difficult conversations with staff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have difficult conversations with your staff about their comfortability, especially with the code clients?
Well, we got another set.
What?
There's another set of uncomfortable people. That is, we've been.
Yeah.
Like there's just two people without kids.
Right.
I have some staff members who are assistant here. They're a little bit hectic. They're life. Colleagues' rights. They wouldn't talk to me. And we're like, well, generally not talking to you tells you volumes. They tell you where you go, this, that, and the other, and you've got collateral information telling you they're psychotic as they can be, and they've not been able to take care of themselves or not bathing, taking meds, you probably have enough right there to write your pre-screening. But sometimes it's really difficult, or I have to do this, getting her to go ahead and do this. Put your big girl panties on. and that is one place I'm struggling with this one step is she's like you do have a point. You are justified.
I mean, what you said is justified. Mm-hmm. And so as a supervisor, how does it make you feel when you have to challenge? And maybe it doesn't go well.
It's not.
Well, does it make it a worse feeling because you know you really don't have the ability to afford to lose those staff?
Oh, yeah. But if you have, yeah, they
And they know the left, they left. It's harder because they know you're
but
like.
if you have a staff that's completely resistant and whatever combative all the time, it actually hurts your team for them to stay. You know what I'm saying? So and nobody likes to be short staffed. We're all probably short staffed in every department, but I'd rather it's easier for me to figure out how to fill in if you're gone versus you kind of poisoning my whole team.
Right.
Because it's that one bad apple syndrome type of thing. So I like what she stated. I will do stages with the staff. I'm gonna start with venting. I'm gonna let you vent. I'm gonna be open and listen while you vent because you could have some valid points that aren't so personal, but maybe structural or workflow that needs to change. And I consider that, right? And then I'm gonna do an explanation level where maybe you don't know why this is what it is. Because sometimes we get orders from our directors and the top, and we don't exactly give that information to our teams because we're more like, let's get it done versus going through the steps of, let me explain to you, because we had code stuff too. Let me explain to you why we respond to the code. Right. Why we respond to the code. How we supposed to respond. This young lady about ACT, what is their role? What is our role? You're right. How can we work better together? So that explanation and execution part takes a little bit more time for me. I'm gonna be honest.
So what team do you work?
I do the crisis mobile team.
Okay.
But I find that
Each other.
right, we all feeding each other. When is it time to call ES? You know, that type of thing, because we're no longer we do the higher level. So I take that time to say, okay, we're going to do a training on just the code today, for example, and let them vent, explain why we go, what it's supposed to look like, and I really need to train them on how to finish assessment, the paperwork. There's other stuff that needs to be done. But I see this stress from the code, and every time it comes across dispatch, I don't want to get the disgruntled. So I'd rather take the time now to put that energy into it. And then my third level is, after I do those things, okay, this is your job. Let's talk about your job and what you signed up for. That's the kind of more direct, non-sensitive.
Yeah.
Is this for you? Because once I get the first two, I've kind of given all I've got. You and that's just me as a supervisor. Because at some point, this just may not be for you. And guess what? That's okay.
It is okay.
And I'd rather for us to figure that part out and you gracefully bow out than to have to write you up and go through. Right.
Yeah.
Because everything for everybody, or sometimes it's time for you to move on. And that's okay to say. And so when I opened that door, and I haven't had to do it here because I'm fairly new here, but I did at my other job. When I opened that door, some people break down and be like, you know what? I think it's time for me to go. Okay, let's talk about leaving. And we can plan it versus me sitting in a write-up.
Well, usually, like for me, for example, when I get a new staff, usually the first 30 days, meet with them, how's it going?
Right.
How are you integrating yourself into the team? And then in 60 days, especially at 60 days, if there haven't been any performance things, or if there have been some performance things, we sit down and I just like to do a check-in, just see how they're liking it. Do you think this is a good fit for you? Even if they're doing great, like this. Is this what you want? Is this what you expect?
I like that.
And I do that because we do have a lot of different opportunities in the agency that people can go to. And I would rather them be happy. And I know that sounds like, silly, you want somebody to be happy, but I'd rather them be happy and go or about other opportunities for them and then go do it. I mean, we had someone with us for 30 days and she's like, this is a little different than it would be.
Right.
It's busier than I thought. People think auditing, is slow. No, it's busy. They're very busy. But maybe it just wasn't what she wanted. So she, we found something else for her. And it was a good split. And I'd rather somebody take the time to have that conversation, to be honest, about what they would like. Because I know some people are just out there looking for jobs.
Yeah.
And they're going to take what they're offered.
Yeah. And what they read isn't the actual execution of the job.
Yeah, so
We have a lot of words on our job description.
we have a lot of words, and then what do they really mean? But we can't create job descriptions for every single individualized, program and opportunity because HR will be drowning. So we have to have these more general job descriptions, which is why in an interview, it's nice to be able to explain it. But even then, we don't always explain everything.
No, we don't.
Because we do want to hire people. And we don't want to, and it's not necessarily because the job's bad. The job is difficult. All our jobs are difficult. They're challenging. We work with challenging populations. We have clients that are great to work with, staff that are great to work with, and then we have other ones that are a little more challenging. And so we want people. So when we talk about delegating, it's important that we know what we're delegating and what we're telling people. You guys do it. It sounds like you guys do it well. Do you guys use any of these? Do you guys make sure you know what you're delegating, like the full extent of what you need to delegate and you can send it on? Because our managers don't feel that way. Feedback has been pretty consistently that, they don't always get the full picture, but they want the full picture before they go and delegate. So it's important that you guys have the big picture, and if you guys delegate to your managers, or whoever would delegate to your managers on your teams, that they have the full picture and the full expectation of what you guys need done. So that means like what the task is, the time frame, who can they work with? Vague delegations are really hard, and they pose a lot of challenges for you as a supervisor to do. For you to go gather information that you might be completely lost on or might need to ask numerous questions on. So the more information that you can get, the better. Does anyone ever delegate tasks to you? Who are those people? Generally, what line? Are they the directors? The director. Administrator?
I have a question in reference to delegating that I just want to pose and just get some feedback. I'm being the clinical supervisor for the clinician 3 course at the CRC. I have one in particular that delegates a lot, like to the point where we've had a conversation about like negative energies and things of that nature, because a lot of staff have expressed their frustration with this particular staff delegating things that should actually come from a supervisor or leader. And I've had talks, I've had conversations, and sometimes some of her delegation has even gone directly to Demetrius without it going to me or my administrator. And I've only been here since August, so I know that my previous administrator, when I brought my concerns and she's brought her concerns to me as well, it was kind of like, oh, that's just the way that she is. I'm like, well, that's not okay, because not only does it kind of mess up the environment, it's also she's overstepping her boundaries. So I've had the hey girl, hey, it's not okay, but I didn't work. We've gone the right up, and it's still, I don't know if it's, to this point, I don't know if it's blatant disrespect, or do you really not know that that's kind of offensive and you shouldn't do that? So I'm just looking for suggestions on how to handle.
She delegate tasks that have been assigned to her specifically. Like she's just like pushing work off on other people.
Other people. She's a Clin 3, and
what's the Clin, like? Is that like an LE?
She's an LE. She'll delegate tasks to my driver. She'll delegate tasks to the nurses.
Right.
So I'm like, well, if I'm here, no.
That's why I asked what her position was.
Yeah. So like, I'll come in and she'll be like, well, I already went ahead and did X, Y, Z. And I'm like, well, that's not even something that I needed them to do. But again, everyone is kind of like, oh, that's just her being her. But I have other staff coming to me like, yo, I can't take it.
Another good point. I was going to say, it sounds like you probably want to sit down.
Okay.
If you've addressed it and it's not gotten to your administration or your director in a meaningful way,
Okay, so it hasn't, and it went to Demetrius?
So we
know exactly who you're talking about.
we have a new director that just started about 2 weeks ago, so she's still learning. So I kind of had a brief summary of what's been going on. So to dump that on her, I haven't yet, because I think we're supposed to have a meeting today about a situation that occurred with this particular staff. But she hasn't been here long enough for her to
understand. To know everything.
She's noticed it little by little, but
also in
like
the Instagram, y'all were reporting directly. Y'all
we didn't have we didn't have a
Demetrius or somebody.
well, Stacy was, but she's so busy she wasn't on site.
So she called. So they called. Oh, wow.
That issue with the clinician when they were out, delegated the other commission. So what I did was try to talk, hey, you're okay. Then I was like, okay. I created workflow that said, this is what you do in X, Y, or Z situation. What you do in this situation, this is who's responsible for. And if there are any changes from this work, then it needs to be reported to me first. If it is not reported to me first, then these are the consequences. And it starts on the day.
And honestly, you do probably want to put in that workflow the chain of command.
So that's
the biggest disciplinary. Yeah. So that's the part of this is what happens.
Okay.
We don't follow. And it's going to not be followed because, and not necessarily maliciously, but because of habit, because she's in a habit of doing that. So now you get your other employees to report, it's also not followed. And then now I'm addressing this, hey, I put this in place, not with. And after a while, it'll get.
Be happy that you have your own problems. What?
And it's HR, the risk in HR, and look at what our objective can be, because if, you know, you don't ever want to come to the time when you're like, this is termination season, and you have to file any sort of progressive disciplinary action for people who like blatantly are just disregarding chain of command. You know, so follow up with HR, and that's your job as a supervisor.
yeah. Right. It's
try not to, because we don't want to lose them, but
maybe things aren't here. So once I put it, there's no, it's
A lot of great areas. So we started last with the disciplinary action, and then yesterday there was a situation where we have some changes with us interacting with the code and from that nature. So we had a huddle and kind of went over we just love clarity. So I'm asking for questions on how I can represent, and when we speak to the director in reference to our concerns. So that was an opportunity for everyone to share their concerns, and she has Demetrius for supervision and brought her concerns to him instead of me, my administrator, or anyone. So when I asked her about it, I said, well, we just had a conversation. She was like, well, he asked me, did I have any concerns? I think he was asking you that generally speaking as supervisee, not technically what we just talked about, which we don't even have any resolution for.
Yeah. Give it, but also in April is going to be
Staff supervision and how to do staff supervision, and Brandon's actually doing that, so it'll be very, very well. And then module 3 in May will be HR on progressive discipline and performance.
you can't wait that long. So
Yeah, I don't want you to wait that long, but I'll just tell you this, it's coming up, so.
Okay.
Oh, keep it.
To do a training for staff, chain of command. Well, we talk about chain of command all the time, but a lot of people don't even realize what that is. And what I have found too with personalities of different people that I've served under, and their idea of there's a basically a common, if you will, chain of command, but then each individual person that you report to may have their own little things that they want to make sure that you follow up with them first before you move out of the apartment that you're in. The other thing, we have a tool that I found very successful, although some people can look at it as being written up, but I explained to them, no, this is to support your success. And it's actually worked, I believe, really well the few 2 or 3 times I've had to use it. And that's the performance growth plan. And I said, you're not being written up. This is a performance growth plan that we're looking at. Okay, where are the areas you need more support? What kind of support? Because it's what you're going to do, what I'm going to do, or do. So I know you've said things and you've talked to her and probably noted on your supervision agenda, but I don't know if that would help or not.
She started the disciplinary process. Imagine she probably does some of those. Yeah, that's good. That's a good one though. Yeah. The performance growth plan is always something really good and helpful to use. And
When it first came out, people were like, oh, this is about a bubble. And it's like, no, it's not handled as a bubble. It's more about, let's break down where the weaknesses or where we need to, I don't say weakness, I say where we need to strengthen and where we need more support.
People that are not doing their job and they're not doing their job.
Yeah, they look at it as
it already is going to come across with them negatively, which is how they know they're not doing their job well, but we still need to do that anyway.
A question about that right quick, since we're speaking of it. Okay, well, so I know that when you do your, so if I'm going to do a performance and growth plan with Aisha, and then it's, you know, and she meets, you know, we meet in after the time frame you give her, whatever. But then when you do the evaluation, even though, so when you do the employee evaluation, I mean, technically, it's not a write-up, but then it asks you, did the person receive? You said,
It asks if they've received disciplinary action. A performance growth plan is not a disciplinary action. It's
So the letter of caution and then you're
right. Yeah, the letter of caution would be the first level of disciplinary action.
I say no.
Correct.
Because it's
In the
not.
comments, you can say a performance growth plan was issued and they improved or didn't improve. If they didn't improve, they should have also got an LOC, but you can make note that it was issued, but it's not disciplinary action.
So just hit no.
Learning. It's supposed to stop in the manager because I can help you improve. So how can I help you improve? What can I add on here that I can do to help make you successful? But the one thing nobody likes to see is when you get performance growth, you get 5 of them, you haven't done anything else. Because after if you fail to meet your deadline that we've set, which could be an immediate thing, like you will stop sending emails because you don't know how to write well. You're going to send them to me first. Or, you know, you give them 30 days to improve or 2 weeks to improve and they haven't done that, or they continue to have these errors. Either you can update their performance growth plan, maybe find something that works for them. If not, you know, you can move on to the progressive disciplinary approach. The other question before we move on. Time management. So,
we have one more. It's silent quitting. It's a phenomenon that's been published about a lot, but okay. But also I've actually witnessed it. You know what to do when you have a staff who's, you know, basically they're quit. You know, and they're not doing their job, but they're only doing the absolute bare minimum, and there's a lot of things falling through the cracks. And kind of support.
right.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, staff do all kinds of, our staff do interesting things. Say that. We see and hear all kinds of things. All right, so moving on to time management. I started doing a little bit of research on time management and like general time wasting behavior since COVID because I don't know about you guys, but life has really changed since COVID, just in certain things that we do. I don't remember there being like drive up, pick up for groceries. I just don't. There are like certain things that I'm like, what did we do before? Get them delivered. I live in like middle of nowhere, so I have to think delivery. But yeah, so much has changed, and so I started looking at a Harvard review on just time wasting behavior since 2022, give or take, when things sort of started to settle down, and the workforce was just a little bit back up on some data. So I thought these were kind of funny, and that's why I put these up there. So consistent studies have shown the average employee, so that might be your employees, spend 23 25% of their work, or 28% of their work week checking or writing emails. This averages to about 1 out of every 3 hours. A lot of time. It's a lot. Studies have shown the average employee checks their email by phone or laptop at an average of 36 times per hour. Does this sound about right? Like I had to do it because I was like, what about that? I hit about 42 the day I checked because a lot of us keep Outlook open while doing other things. And so we're constantly going back and forth. If there are some people that have turned those little notifications off, I like it, but it also gets me checking my email even more frequently. Been on your phone, anything like that, gets you to look and check your email. The average employee spends 20 to 40% of their day multitasking, switching from one task to another. Do we think those numbers are about average where they were prior to COVID? Like from when a lot of people were in person?
I think most just because we weren't. I mean, before everybody was in one setting, and now everybody is, like you say, remote working from home. So I guess you seems you meet more because you're trying to write.
Yes.
Washing.
That's multitasking. She was talking about multitasking.
Multitasking. I have tried to throw laundry, and I there was the last year that by the third day, and I still hadn't put it in the dryer, and it got washed 3 times. I forgot. Just the chime would go off, and I'm like, I'm working. I'm gonna get up. I'll get it. I'll get it in an hour when I get up. And
3 days later,
I did not get up. So,
you have to sit.
yeah, kept being in.
Sit and work straight through.
I do too.
You don't have the interrupt. I work more at home than I do in the office.
So when we're in the office, for anyone who does come into the office or even prior to COVID, we would like travel from like office to office to like down and talk. More social. Yeah. And that's not a bad thing, but we do. I find I just sit all day. Like 100 hours, so you're a little bit different. Like 190. It's like for 4 people, you're like 1 for 4 here. The average employee since COVID spends more than 40% of their work week in meetings. Yeah. Of those meetings, more than 50% are considered unnecessary. This is not one of them. I know. Of their time. And wasteful of their time. They have been more productive. Staff are, unprepared. They don't know what's going on. They don't know what the meeting agenda is or what's expected of them when they show up. Those are some high numbers.
I feel like that's pretty accurate during COVID and after, because only the reason why I say the unnecessary is because a lot of the times you're meeting repeatedly on the same thing, and we're talking about the same task that we gave a deadline for, but we haven't reached that deadline, but then we're still saying where our progress is. Like, allow me to meet it. Yes. Like, allow me to get to that, and then let's meet on the due date to see where I am. And then, but if we're meeting every other day, every week on the same thing, like that gets, that gets a little old. Yeah.
Well, we have a really good tendency to they need to get something done, and they make a team to do it, and then somebody somewhere has decided that this other group of people need to meet to talk about the same topic. And somehow it's evolved into like another group, and so now we're all like doing each other's like work, and then nothing has gotten done.
Right?
Yeah. In any of them, because none of those groups knew each other was meeting.
Exactly. Like, or what they were doing.
Yeah. Like, the meeting like next week. They're like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Oh, you're not in now." Sorry. Right. No, I assumed it's on the same topic.
Okay.
If you're in management, so studies have shown you spend more than 23 hours of your work week just sitting in meetings. Mm-hmm. I tell people usually 3 days out of my week is usually like 8 hours fairly consistently of just meetings. And that's just 3 of those days. I still work the other 2, and generally they're filled with other things, which include mostly on meetings. Selfers. It's a lot. It's a lot.
My mom spent the day at my house today, and she was like, "You have been on a meeting out of here to do like, do you get tired of this?"
Yes, I do.
Like, her mom was supposed to be at me sick and tired.
Yes.
I feel like I could talk.
And I don't see how good I know when I come home, I'll be like, okay, don't say anything.
I know, leave me alone.
45 minutes. Right.
Studies have shown 67% of your staff are completing other tasks while in meetings. Yeah, prevent that, especially virtually. What kind of things do you try to implement? And I do mean heavily try, because we know what's happening. Camera on is a big one.
Mics on. I don't let my mics be off. Because they try to do everything with that mic off. They just, oh no. No, turn your mic on. Turn your mic on and be quiet. Let's be.
Don't even pressure. Come in, whether you're in a meeting or not, you have to respond.
Right, so sometimes it's just part of your job. Yeah. And that, like, responding is, there's nothing worse than answering the phone and not being relevant. Probably you need to know the other things, but it happens. I like the staff that are like, no multitasking. We're gonna make sure we're watching and they're paying attention, and they look like they're doing a really good job at it. And I laugh because I can see like the screen flashing over their like glasses, because you can see when the white is moving. Stop now. Oh. We'll wait until that stops moving. Studies show an average of 50% of meeting time is spent on irrelevant topics, or topics for the initial invitation. So one of the things that has come up is a lot of people have had meetings, and it's okay that beginning of their meeting, how was your weekend? You were sick last week. How's your family? Things like that. Do you guys find that's more? You guys have generally some more, not all of them, but some more casual interactions in the beginning of meetings, depending on what type of meeting it is. Michelle's like, he's like, no. Yeah. We're humans, right? We need to have this social interaction. It's really funny that there was less like absolutely yeses in this room. All of these, the 3 other manager cohorts. So you guys are supervisors, the others were all management. And they were like, oh, absolutely. Like, without a doubt. Like, it got loud. We had a whole conversation about it. We know what our managers are doing.
Right.
But really, that's, you guys I think have more strength in that organization of like, you have to get this task done. This is what our meetings are about. You probably come a bit more prepared and are a little bit more structured than some of our managers. And so when they say, oh yeah, we spend a good amount of our time talking, catching up, things like that, it's a bit more casual for them. So it's just kind of interesting to see this progression of.
I'm a man.
That's okay.
So I had just one. I think it's because when we are talking directly to our team, it's a little bit more intimate and personal, because those are the people we interact with. Yeah. So you have that kind of time in the beginning of your meeting to do the check-in. How you doing? Where when I notice I'm in a meeting with you guys or a higher level, it's more structured, because I don't talk to you every day. We don't have that type
There's a difference between your like core team and learning who they are and getting to know them. You can talk discipline probably with them if you knew a little bit more about them, if they're having a rough time or you see performance issues, if you know a little bit more about them. So the feedback has been consistent, like, we're humans. We need to care about people. How much time you take to care about them, that's on you. But we know we have to get stuff done. A lot of people, 86% believe that technology has improved communication within teams. I think that's true for me, at least. I have had to learn certain technology things that we have. Like, I hated Teams at first. I was like, hated it. I never wanted to use it. But I use it a lot now for a lot of different things. And so the use of technology, learn it, have your teams learn it, practice it. 70% of executives believe their meetings are productive and valuable. That's a really low number, 17%. This is largely due to poor planning and lack of preparation. 63% of meetings don't even have a set agenda. The 37 don't have any agenda at all. I like going and having meetings with business development or business development team because they generally always come with a very clear set agenda. Do you guys generally set agendas when you have meetings with your staff? What to do?
Like, I'll be like, okay, Christmas.
Yeah, you like, you know what you're doing.
Yeah, mental list.
Okay.
Well, I think you sent it out to everybody.
You send it out, okay.
I work at, now the whole program has a layout of what the meeting's supposed to be. We meet every day. Meeting's supposed to be an hour, so when you come into the meeting, you gotta go home, you gotta go. That's fine, it's in the program. Now, if I have another staff meeting, because we've done, I do an agenda, because if not, we would just go completely. So, yeah, we do a lot of the stuff because we don't get a chance to do it. We have to do that. So I constantly check in with people, especially if I'm in a meeting and I notice eye contact is different or they look different in the brain or coffee eye, anything. Just check. Make sure.
Those are helpful. I think agendas are really helpful ones to use. But more important, if you take a step further, just creating that agenda, but giving it to your team or your staff ahead of time, that they know what they're covering and what to expect. So, I do, like I said, a lot of Teams meetings. When I create my Teams meetings, does anyone know that you can create an agenda and take your minutes right there while your team meeting is open?
No.
Maybe too much today.
Well, Andrew already showed that.
How do you actually use the agenda? So it's so super simple. If you're in Teams, if you create a Teams invite, right? So this is just my Teams invite for my safety committee meeting. I have to scroll down to the bottom. There's a little box. The very bottom. Like if you open up one of your meetings that you've got scheduled, you scroll all the way down to the bottom. You're going to see a box, and obviously a lot bigger because I've been typing it. What I like to do, even for my management meeting, like my team management meeting, is I say, go ahead, I close a business on this date. I want all your agenda items. Anyone can go and open that invite, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and add their agenda item. Mine are crossed off because this meeting is already. So when I go start that meeting and I open Teams, your agenda is going to be on the right-hand side. Now, some people it doesn't show up and you have to click agenda at the top. And it'll be right there on the side and I can cross off. I check off what I've done and it crosses it. At the same time, I can be adding my meeting minutes and I just type in meeting minutes. So that I don't have to send an email out. I can go back and I can refer back to it and see what we've got going on. You can also follow tasks. I don't get into all that, but I do meeting minutes. What I like to do, I heard a lot of your managers say, well, they type up their meeting minutes or they handwrite them and then they email them out. We also heard that's probably not the most effective way of communicating with our team, or they don't read them, things like that. So I created a Teams channel. Megan, sorry if you can't create anymore. You created a bunch. So I created my own committee for a Teams channel for our safety committee. And I have the dates. I don't like it psychological, so don't. Just really. That's what bothered me. So I create all of I put the data in and I just copy in all of our meeting minutes. Usually I put some more detail in here, like people or staff and things like that. But I do put those in here. So then I don't have to send an email out. I can just go right to they can go right to the team button. They can go right to the general notes and then on the data. And I can refer back on it and I can look here. Well, I was So I like to use Teams. We've heard a lot of people use sticky notes. They write a notepad. For me, the most important piece just to push out there to you guys is that if you create an agenda, however you create it, share it beforehand. So that your staff know the expectations because they can't be prepared without really knowing what you guys are talking about. It's really important. It's nice to know. I like to know ahead of time what we're going to be talking about. Whether I have a clue what we're talking about or not, I still like to have an agenda that I can follow. So just some tips other than needing a break, which I like to tell everyone down at the bottom, but really to the top. Assessing how you spend your time. Is it productive? Do you have time wasting behaviors? Do you do things that you probably, need to delegate off to somebody else? Creating to-do lists and prioritizing those lists. I've heard from managers, they do a ton of different things to create lists and prioritize. Like I said, from just sticking sticky notes all over their desk, which, like some people like to live in that organized chaos and it works for them. Other people, buy those nice journals and they, have their calendar, and I buy them because they look really pretty and then I never use them. I might use them the first second. I find everything I'm going to do in January and then I never use it again. Do you prioritize? Do you create lists? I personally don't, unless I'm like, it's a serious day and I've got a ton of stuff to do and I'll just write it out. A mental list works if you can keep track of it or if it works for you. And that's the most important thing, is that it works for you. I'd spend more time creating the list and prioritizing it, and I could have gotten all the tasks done before I even finished creating the dang list.
Guys, my calendar.
Love that. I started doing that too. In Outlook. Yeah.
I know I have something to do every month. Set it when I want to do it, and it alerts.
Well, we have so many people now. My calendar's generally open, and I just like my team knows that they want to meet. They don't we meet. They just go put a meeting right on my calendar. And that really goes for anyone. They can just go. I don't have to be bound. I like to, but I just show up. But that means that I've got a lot of people accessing my calendar, and so I like to make sure that I have set blocks or times where I need to do records. I need to do delete service requests. We get a lot of different things that we have to do. Policy writing. I try to put all those into my day. I try to write down doctor's appointment, travel time. I don't want to be in a meeting here and then somebody scheduled a meeting that's virtual, but I know I'm trying to leave. So scheduling your time, making sure you look at your calendar, what you can prioritize, what you can block off. So you also have a little bit of time for yourself. What you do in that time is up to you. Using that technology. So again, scheduling, using technology to your advantage, setting expectations for your team members and your colleagues, when you're available, when you're not available. Practice saying no. It's not really a great skill of a lot of us, maybe. I don't know, maybe. Being able to say, no, I can't take care of that right now or today, but I can do it, and when can you do it? When can I get it done? All right, so we're going to move quickly along to leadership etiquette responses. I really like these because if you are not generally blind like I am, these are great because they're fun. So, if you guys ever received an email and that was just rude. Sometimes it's how it's written, and sometimes it's how we interpret it. It's sometimes just your relationship with someone, right? That you know what it's going to be like. If you're getting an email and it's coming from someone in particular who's defining issues, it's going to come across negative. For my last email, I have staff that you like to use that. Like, that's a no-no for me. For my last email is rude to me personally. Because it's like, can you not read? You didn't already read my email?
Or it's like I told you.
Like, I've already told you that, but let me, yes. Correct me if I'm wrong. Absolutely.
you know, you guys all know Debbie. Like, I worked with Debbie for a long time. And I knew that. So I'm going to call her name. No problem. But she's thinking about each step by step ahead where you are. You start out by saying, Deb, I already, she's already, yeah, I got it. So I take my last email. I really am. But she's like, oh,
I just want to let you know, I just sent an email you want to take. Went out, I didn't work. Hey, I know you're busy. I finished you twice already. You know. So it just depends on how you get that opinion. Absolutely. And it really does just come down to like people. I just know Debbie would probably be very, you know, like understanding of you. She'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, you know. Other people might be like, oh, okay. So some of these are just sound funny. They don't mean that they're wrong, or that you can't use them. They were just humorous. So we have a lot of issues, and even doing this, I've had to look at how I write, how my team writes, how we communicate, because it has to be but etiquette is very important. Using your professional subject line, not marking something as urgent when it's not urgent. I generally, especially like after this, I'll have 150 emails. I'm going to go to the ones that are marked urgent. If you consistently send me an email marked urgent and it is consistently not urgent, I will just start ignoring it. I will read it. You will just want me first. Proofread it. Yeah, it seems so simple, but yet so challenging for people. Some of our managers, they laugh because they've struggled with their teams and they're working on it. Either through, we had one person in our credit cohort that said, proofreading was so bad with one of her staff that she just said, you cannot send an email to anyone without it going to me first. Yeah. Because she was sending things to, she's sending it to probation officers, the courts, lawyers, because of what she did. And so it's really important that our staff learn, like, this is how you're going to write. I've done it. Where I'm like, look, you cannot send all manager emails out, or you can't send them to this group unless somebody proofreads. I like to write my email before the recipient because goodness knows I've leaned on my laptop one too many times to send emails that are not all the way done. So that's a habit I've just like recently, like, guys, stop doing this. Like, I will remove like all user, all manager, before I send an all user, all manager email, I probably looked at that email 10 times and read it about 100 times before I've sent it, and I'll still get something spelled wrong or whatever. But we're humans. Double check you have the correct recipients. Sometimes we're human, we make honest mistakes. Outlook does this lovely thing that I'm sure we all appreciate, where it recommends people. And if you just are, typing away, you're busy, typing away, click it away, you might add one too many people in or somebody you didn't need to add in there. It happens. People no longer, well, yeah, I mean, at least it's in-house, but goodness knows, Outlook retains people that like family members, all kinds of things. Including that signature block, please. I beg everybody, make sure you at least have a signature block with your name and a phone number, like a reasonable phone number that we can reach. Don't have please don't put like a random residential. We got on residential last week. They like house number and they're never there. And then nobody wants to give us their information because they just want to confirm who we are first with a supervisor. It's wonderful. I love it, but I also hate it because I don't want to have to go through that multi-factor authentication in Chronos to pull up your phone number. Well, they're coming in Friday. I will definitely, personally, I'll probably have to walk through how to do it. I think it's so professional, and I try to tell people all the time, like, on your cell phones, like your agency cell phone, it'll say sent from iPhone. There's a way to delete that. Yeah, we have a couple of directors I've been like, why did you take that? First, I know when you're on your phone. When you go to your signature. Yeah, there are some that come across that are super not like you could tell they were like voice texting it to you. Sent from iPhone, and I'm like, I would have just thought maybe your like fingers were slipping on the keyboard, but you know, you were clearly driving when you sent them. I really appreciate it when people put that because it helps us. I have like a 3 email rule. If I have to go back and forth with you on an issue, where I'm not understanding or you're not understanding at least 3 times, I just want to pick up the phone and call you and resolve it. Like, there is nothing wrong with picking up the phone and calling someone or saying, hey, can we just talk because they're jumping on Teams? Like, it is so much easier. Sheila knows, I just call you. I don't even like emailing. I just call you. Like, I don't know around me help me. No, yes. One of my staff, they were coming back and I'm commenting on everything. Going back and forth this, I was like, you're done. Done. What you're saying, you don't understand what she's trying to do, just call her. Done. I'm done with 3 hours of that. So I just, you know, we're professionals. We're trying to help each other out. We're here to support one another. And it just becomes so anxious. Everybody gets angry about it. Just call. Just call them. Texting, hey, do you mind? You know, if we just jump on it. Yeah. Using appropriate personality, we don't really use fear more, but like morning, good afternoon. A lot of us just start with the email because we're busy. We are just a little more casual. Depends on your audience. Keeping emails brief and to the point. Or, you know, sometimes they have a lot of information you have to get out, but keeping it as consistent and factual as possible. Sometimes it's possible, sometimes it's not. But I have team members that I'm like, reading your email. No one's going to read it. Nobody did read that. That's why nobody has the answer. Because they're too long. And they're like too long unnecessarily. And again, sometimes an email with too much information could just be a phone call. Let me explain it. Let me see where are the errors in our system that we can get for you if I can just call you. Which is why they get longer because we're trying to explain it and it just becomes very confusing. Yes, exactly. Let's have a meeting. Most people don't do this, but a couple people were like, you know, this screaming email, some of their staff do it and they're like, stop doing it. Yeah.
People do make screens that way. I've seen other regions.
Yeah. We've got most of our physicians. Yes, they do psychiatrists type in all that.
Like, yeah,
I don't know why. Yeah, exclamation marks. I like an exclamation mark. And I'm like, you know, being friendly. Hey, hey, thanks. Or you know, this is so much help. There are staff that smiley faces. I don't want a good smiley face. Depends on the contact. A good smiley face after. Yeah, I took care of it for you, so you don't have to fix it. Smiley face. I'm like, did you just flick me off? Like, I don't know what you did there. I don't know what you're going there. It depends on the person, depends on how your relationship with them. I just don't know, but I'll ask. Attaching something to your email. Make sure you've attached it.
Oh, yeah.
Many times. Many times. We get busy. I like to reference attaching in my email. Yep. We're going to move on super fast. We're going to run out of time. The most important thing here, out of anything, is confidentiality. We say our laptops, everything we have on our phone, our laptops are confidential. None of it is confidential. If I want to get access to what you have because we've got concerns or we have an investigation, IT can. I can't. IT can. We had an outpatient therapist 6 months ago who got I get subpoenas quite frequently for staff. And it was a subpoena for medical records, including any and all written communication with or about a client. We did try to argue it, but it was admissible. That was a shock for the therapist because she had been communicating with the client via text. Most all were appropriate, but also communication with their manager about a client. It might have been like an email or so. I think this happened like 2 times. You had one, and then I think maybe one of your staff might have, like, this was a long time ago. Just had a couple. So one of the things we did find out though was like written notepads you might have. It's admissible in court if it came from the agency. Because it's agency property.
Oh, but if it was mine in my bag and they can't take it.
Yeah. Can they prove it? No. So like therapists might keep their own journal, their own notebook. That's theirs. Nobody needs to know that. So that's the most important thing. Keep it professional. Making sure you know that what you have written can be accessed. Your staff need to understand, like, keeping their location on their phone is important because when their location goes off on their phone, it looks a little sketchy when we're trying to find them. Phone call during investigations. We have had to look into people. I'm like, you made that 15-minute phone call with that client, but you were standing in Walmart. You know that because of where your phone is. And the phone, Verizon can send us, we did not make any phone calls during that time. So we can see that. And it's just really important for staff to realize and recognize that it could be hurtful or ruinous to them and to our clients. We have had a few situations like sarcasm or humor. We might be 800 people, we're a small agency and things get around. So sarcasm, photos, joking about a client or what they were doing, what they were like, gets around very quickly. Just be careful about sarcasm, even if it was meant to be. Even if it was meant in just pure humor. It can be still hurtful. I might just skip over this. Your boundary, we might have like a small conversation. Relationship with client. A relationship, don't have those. Relationship with your staff from a friendship perspective. I firmly under the belief you should not have like a good friend as your director of work. Some people agree, some people disagree. It depends on the friend, I suppose. So what would you do if you had a close friend for you that was not doing their job or was acting in your favorite? How would you do it?
I would treat it with any other staff.
So much better than our managers.
Yeah, at the end of the day, if you choose to work underneath me, then you have an understanding that it's business. At the end of the day, it's not personal. And you're expected to do your job.
I managers for feedback to you that
Like, I had a couple people that you're still not
You might not be going out drinking with them at
right. It's the boundary level that is set. Yeah, they can't be a regular friend, unfortunately.
a lot clearer. So, you know, in the manager cohort, there's like some hemming and hawing over, you know, what's
Because a lot of them moved up too. So a lot of them moved up.
That's a conversation for you guys to have with your managers and your staff when they move up or when they change positions from, you know, a case manager to a team lead and who they oversee, for example. The dynamic is going to change. But as friends, we should be respectful of each other and our job. And at the end of the day, it's got clients, you got to take care of them. So it's hard.
My philosophy is if you have a good friend and you're working together and you're supervising them, they're not doing your job. It's not a friend. You know, your friend wants you to look as good as you possibly can, but break their back to make sure you shine.
End on is silos. What is a silo other than something like
Yeah.
Using 15 of our 109 programs in this age. Real good.
You said 15 programs?
And I was going to say, I find those that work in like budgeting, finance, or procurement. They will know more other than my auditing team. Service access stands alone. You guys always And everyone I point out, service access generally is the expert of what's going on in the agency. What program has been debuted? For kids? Fine, okay. Sabrina Curry, extended community crisis stabilization. Where's that out of? You don't just say, because you know everything.
Yeah, sure.
You just might have learned it existed, but it was sent out, but with a really nice flyer with a lot of really good information on it. And that's the issue. It went out to all users last Wednesday. Last Wednesday, it went out. None of your managers. My managers are one each, other than like our finance or administrative, do anything about this program. My managers are lying. We met with Sabrina Curry and her team. You only won like one of the trainings that who knew, but she's the manager of it, so she didn't get a leader. My team will hear about this. Because of silence. Because we live in our own little world and we are not one agency. We want to think we're here as one agency for the greater good for our clients, and we're here to work together. But there's only one drop. We have 109 of them. So it's hard to keep up. We've heard a lot of good suggestions about like the Rolodex and all these different like a virtual.
I feel like though, I mean, even if it's just a Rolodex of just the actual programs and then like do an add-on, because we know like the supervisors and stuff like that would change. So yeah, just like that would be great.
I stated when I'm still having a new hire, that it was amazing to me that we have all this technology at Western Tower, but there's nowhere where you go and there's a list of programs and a list of contacts.
So we've talked about that over the years, for a lot of years.
Did not make sense.
One thing leadership is really working on is looking at these issues. But one thing we're fairly, at least Larry and I are fairly firm on is that we're really good at making excuses about not doing things and finding the reasons why we can't do something. And we really need to like not do that anymore. And so your feedback and yeah, well, it's been around the block for many years. It's a big issue. So many involving parts over people changing positions. Because we get requisitions, the script signature script, we have no idea who it came from. We have no idea who supervises the programs or who to contact to follow up to get approval for the requisitions. So with all the moving parts and all the changes, that's very difficult for us to keep up with. That when the email came out about the new program, first thing I said was, who's a supervisor? What's the program number? Who does the requisitions? Who's the support staff? Those are questions that I think a lot of us need answers to.
Everybody from HR when we got it.